It used to be a weekend tradition, lining up for popcorn, picking the perfect seat, and soaking in the big screen. But for more and more people, that tradition is fading. Is the closure of AMC Lee Branch 15 the latest sign that the movie theater experience is changing? We want to hear from you. What would make you more likely to visit a movie theater? Scan the QR code here on your screen to weigh in or find this story on ABC3340.com. And tonight, ABC 3340's Valerie Bell looks at what's behind the shift and whether the silver screen still has a future.
The curtains closed at AMC Lee Branch 15 in March. After years of entertaining moviegoers, the screens went dark. AMC confirmed the closure, saying the company routinely reviews theaters in their circuit and makes decisions to strengthen the company going forward. As the building already has plans for new life as a gym, the question lingers. Are theaters struggling to stay open?
They're certainly, I would say, struggling to an extent. And there's a lot of factors that are playing into, especially in the past 5 years, the performance of box office sales.
Assistant professor at UAB, Alan Franks, weighs in. He oversees the digital and broadcast media specialization in the Department of Communication Studies.
Certainly streaming, since its inception, has been continually eating into that. But I would say COVID was a detrimental blow. And then just as things started to look like they were coming back up, you had the Hollywood strikes. And so it's just kind of one thing after the other.
We asked you how often you go to the movies. The responses were mixed.
I take my daughter about once every other week.
Probably once every 2 months.
I would say probably like once a month, once every 2 months.
I honestly don't really go to the movies that often.
Those who attend regularly notice a change in the crowd.
It's far less now.
Yes, it's not the same.
You really had to fight to get your favorite seats, but now it's just you can go pop in wherever.
Frank says theaters have been here before.
When you look at the history of cinema, they've been through every form of disruptive media technology and different formats of media consumption from, the days of television, which was a big fear for the theater owners. And, they had to up their game in terms of the experience they were offering to their audiences. And so this isn't their first rodeo.
So what's pulling people away from the big screen?
I would assume it's streaming services and the ease of being able to watch everything at home.
Streaming is definitely much more of my consumption, so like Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, all that.
I do enjoy the movies. I think that's something fun to do. I do think that it's useful, just to get out the house. But for me, I can just watch it on the couch.
For some, it's convenience. For others, it's cost. You can pop your own popcorn. And watch the movie from the comfort of your own home.
Everything, it might be in the movies for just a little while, and then it's going to come on some type of streaming platform. And unfortunately, I pay for all the streaming platforms. So just kind of the cost benefit.
The cost is pretty high. It takes a lot to just go to a movie. You have to get snacks and everything, so it just takes a lot of money. And, there's also a lot of options online, and time-wise, it's better.
As streaming movies becomes more readily available, and there's so many different platforms to do that on, how does that play a factor in people not wanting to go sit in a movie theater and have that experience when they can experience that at home?
Yeah, so, there's a number of things kind of playing into that. One is kind of the cost of the experience to go see films. For the price of a single movie ticket, I can get a whole month's worth of entertainment at home. And so there's certainly that at play. But then you also have the habits that have been built since COVID, especially where, previously we, occasionally took the family out to see a film. When we were stuck at home for that long of a period, that's long enough of a time for us to develop new habits and start to become comfortable with how we're consuming films.
But to survive this era, theaters have to adapt.
Then from the theater owner perspective, they have to think about the experience. What does the theater offer that home doesn't?
The answer? Frank says premium experiences, IMAX, 4DX, luxury seating, full menus, even arcades and bowling alleys. And the power of nostalgia.
I certainly think nostalgia plays a factor. Parents want to expose their children to what they grew up seeing. and experiencing. And whether that's a re-release of a very popular title, which we started to see another approach that theaters are taking, drawing from old film catalogs, re-releasing them very short time period, so there's a small window that you can actually see it and experience again on the big screen.
As digital media continues to evolve, do you think that theaters will be able to adapt?
Yeah, we're already starting to see theaters adapt in a number of ways. And you also have to still consider the relationship with the studios. During COVID, that's when we started to see straight to streaming for a lot of those releases, just out of necessity. And then there was that kind of experimental season where they're trying to figure out where does streaming fit into their distribution strategy. And I think it's becoming clear the theater is still vital to the studio's bottom line.
And here at home, iconic venues like the Alabama Theater continue to hold strong.
The Alabama Theater has been around since the golden age of cinema, big movie palace. It's also seen the disruption over the years, and yet it still survives.
The hope, other theaters will too.
I think there's still a lot of American sentiment where they value that experience. And so if audiences are aware of that and they want to see it continue, it means you have to continue to support that.
For some, the experience is worth it.
My daughter's 6. I love the movies. I always have. My mom was the one who started bringing me when I was young, and I want to make sure that she inherits that trait.
It's an experience. I like the quality of sound, the big screen, the experience of getting candy and popcorn, and just the whole deal.
Valerie Bell, ABC 3340 News.